Hello everyone. Today I will show you how to improve the quality of the liveries you see on track on ACC. So long story short, a couple of years ago, ACC changed their livery system and now relies on 4 specific files in order to read these liveries. This applies for all the liveries, including the ones that are in the game or the ones that you download or bought from someone else. So as you can see, here we are inside a livery folder, and we have 8 files. We have 4 files which are called sponsors and decals underscore 0 and 1 .dds. Then we have the PNG files, which are the livery itself, and then the JSON files, which are the material ones. So the game now relies on these 4 ones. The ones finished with underscore 0 are the ones that you can see on the showroom every time you are on the menu of the game. And the ones with the underscore 1 are the ones that the game uses for all that includes track racing. So either time trial or hot lap or just race or server online racing, it's the same. It will use the ones that are underscore 1. And what's the difference between these two set of files? Well, the ones with underscore 1 are compressed files, are smaller files that will allow the game to reduce the workload necessary in order to run the deliveries in the game. These have the downside that it will take a lot of quality out from the livery, which it might be a problem if you are using textures like carbon fiber or stainless steel like texture, or if you have small patterns around the livery, it will create some kind of pixelization around them, same way with the logos, that when you are really close to the car you will start to see that kind of pixelization, which it doesn't look as good, but again, the game does this in order to improve the workload necessary. It will take quality in order to improve performance. We can force the game to use I will show you what I mean by that. So sorry, this one isn't. We have this car I made a long time ago, and I want you to pay special attention, to the bottom logos, the AK Informatica, the SRO, the 505. You can see that the small letters are clearly readable, they're visible, and you don't see any kind of pixels around them. The shapes are pretty much clear. But now I will go to track, and you will see that the livery will be in a worse quality. It will be even worse. I will put F11, sorry.
Green light, give it all you can.
I activate the free cam with F7, and as you can see, the logos are more pixelated and the shapes aren't clean. They look kind of pixelated as well. Look at the Assetto Corsa Competizione logo. You cannot read the little text that is from the bottom of the logo. So as you can see, the game compressed a lot, and this is the lightest level of compression the game can do in order to improve the performance of the game. You should think that with one custom livery it's not a big problem, but when you have 20-30 cars around all with custom liveries, you will have a pretty the computer will have a pretty hard time in order to render all the cars. So the game does this in order to reduce the workload necessary, so it is a better performance. But like I said, it will take out quality, and in some liveries it will look even worse. So we can force, like I said, the game to use the same file, the same showroom file, either on showroom but also on the track. So in order to accomplish this, first we need to close the game. Then we go to our livery folder. It doesn't matter which one. just the one that you want to look better, and we delete all the files that are .dds. We don't need them anymore, so we delete them. And now, once we done this, we go to our documents folder, then Assetto Corsa Competizione folder, config, and then we look for this file here called menu settings.json, and we open it, and we'll look for these two lines, text DDS and text cap. So basically, this one, it will tell the game to read the DDS files, and this one, it will tell the game how much you want to compress that DDS file. Of course, this only will affect the one which _1, the ones that on track. Showroom files are always the same, sorry. But we need to change this in order to force the game to read and use the same library that use either on showroom and on track. So we change text DDS to 0 and then text cap to 0, and we save this. You can open JSON files with Notepad. Every text application that you can have on the computer, it will work. I use Notepad++, but it's just a preference of mine. We save the file, then we close it, and we again will start the game again. Just wait a minute. Now what we will see will be an improvement on the track, especially around the logos. You will see that it will be less pixelated around them, the shapes will be more clear. Just one moment, please. I'm doing this just in one take, so it won't be perfect. So again, here we have our car, your beautiful car. Just pay special attention to the Assetto Corsa Competizione logo, the SRO logo, and the AK Informatica logo, because you will see the big difference around them. So again, drive, F7.
Green light. Go, go, go.
And as you can see, the logos look even better now. You can actually read what it says on the bottom text on the Assetto Corsa Competizione logo, same of SRO and the AK Informatica. You can see that there aren't more. It isn't pixelated as it was before. Of course, the bigger the quality of the library, for example, 4K, 8K, 16K, the heaviest will be the file. And like I said, the downside of this change is that the game will take a lot of workload in order to render all the cars. This will be a problem if you are online racing, because if somebody joins mid-session, it will freeze your game for, I don't know, 5-10 seconds in order to load the car. And that doesn't happen when you have the DDS files activated. But again, like I said, it will take quality in order to improve performance, like every game does. So bear in mind that this also will affect the libraries that are on game, included by default. So if you're racing against the IA, for example, or if you are on a public server, it will also affect your PC. No matter if they're using custom libraries or just the game libraries. Another thing to have in mind is that this will only affect your computer. So if somebody is streaming with the custom libraries, if the streamer doesn't have deactivated this file, this change, it will look as pixelated as it looked before we changed the 1 to 0s. So bear in mind that you might have to think if it's worth it or not. But like you see, it will improve the quality of the libraries in game. If you want to use the new library system again, which, like I said, force the game to use the DDS files, sorry, you change text DDS to 1, only 1, and text cap to 1, and the bigger the number, the more compressed the file will look. In my personal experience, higher than 3, it will not make a worthy difference. So I always put it on 1 and I just go with it. Save, and every time you load a library that doesn't have a DDS file included, I personally don't include DDS files on my deliveries because this very same reason, the game will create it automatically. So you might expect a little bit of freezing every time you open the game, or just select a card that you download that doesn't have any DDS file. So yeah, this was this short tutorial, not so short, sorry, tutorial. I hope you understand it, and if you have any question, just let me know in the comments. Bye.